The death of Steve McNair over the weekend certainly left a lot of questions and a lot of things to be answered in the near future. We're going to try and take care of some of those, at least football-wise, here on CBSSports.com. Jason Horowitz, glad to be with you here on our NFL Insider segment. Of course, that means it's NFL.com's Pat Kirwan joining us this week on the phone. And Pat, we'll get to some of the other stuff in a second, but from a football standpoint, what will his on-the-field legacy be?
Well, I remember, I go back to 1995 in the Senior Bowl when I went down there as a member of the New York Jets front office and watched this kid throw from Alcorn State. We knew all the 1AA numbers were phenomenal, but he was absolutely fantastic, and that's why he went as a third pick in the NFL draft. He threw a drill with the out routes to the backs. He didn't miss a guy one time. It was like a human jugs machine. So everyone saw the raw talent, and I thought that the Titans did a great job of nurturing him early, not putting him on the field right away, letting him develop, and then giving him full reins of the football team. Yes, he became a phenomenal player, Jason, and did a lot of things. But now, somewhere along the line, I have to address as a football guy, is he worthy of the Hall of Fame after we take the emotion of the tragedy out of it?
Well, that's the question then, Pat, because that's certainly going to play a role 5 years from now, 4 or 5 years from now, when he is eligible for the Hall of Fame. As a football guy, is he a Hall of Famer?
You know, I'd like to say he is, and he might very well get in the Hall of Fame for the things he did. But, you know, the first comparison I'd make to you and with you is about Steve Young. Because Steve Young, to me, was a mobile quarterback, and ironically, they both threw the ball about the same amount of times. Yes, Steve was in the league 15 years, but he didn't play really for 6 seasons. Steve for 13, but didn't play for the first 2 or so. So you can make the comparison with Steve Young, and Steve Young got in so many ways, and I'll give you a couple. Steve Young surpasses him. So on the analysis and comparison to Steve Young, I'll say he won't make it. But here's a couple of examples. McNair throws for 4,544 attempts, 4,149 for Young. So you can really look at these guys. 174 touchdowns for McNair, 232 for Young. On interceptions, Steve McNair threw more, 119 to 107. On completion percentage, Young beats him by 4 points. On yards per attempt, one of the most critical categories, Young beats him by over a yard. He does lose to him in sacks. And here's the one where people would guess wrong. If you looked at the rushing yards, we all think of McNair as a great runner, and we thought Young was a very good runner. But here's the reality. Young beats him 4,239 yards to 3,590. He's better in yards per attempt. He fumbled almost half as many times as McNair did. He's a Super Bowl MVP twice. He wins 2 Super Bowls. Yep. He goes to 7 Pro Bowls. McNair didn't do those things. Here's where I think it falls into line with 2 of our favorites, Jason. Phil Simms, Boomer Esiason are not in the Hall of Fame, and when you look at what they did in pro football, those numbers stack up to McNair, and in the case of Super Bowl wins, Simms passes him. So I think he might fall short once the emotion's gone.
Yeah, and that may be for a while in terms of when the emotion falls away here, Pat. The other question I have for you, and I guess it's a little tough to do this in a tactful way, but because of all the things that are being revealed about his life away from football, and it's obviously not just Steve McNair, a lot of people in football, out of football, have things like that as well. Does that change how people around the league, maybe people who were fans of Steve McNair, will look at him and his career and his life?
I don't think so, Jason. I mean, he's part of society. Societal problems are everywhere. They're not exclusive to football players. I think people that respected Steve as a football player will not be tainted by the unfortunate and timely murder of Steve McNair. I think they'll judge the football player when it's all said and done, and just lots of remorse right now for him and his family.
And, of course, for more on Steve McNair, be sure to stay right here with CBSSports.com as all the latest developments continue to unravel here in the murder of the quarterback. For Pat Kirwan, I'm Jason Horowitz. Take care, folks.